Well, it's that time of the day again here on France 24 where we look through all the world's papers for you. Nadia Sharbeet's been doing the honours today. Good morning, Nadia.
Good morning.
What are you starting with?
We're starting with the trial in Guantanamo of Osama bin Laden's driver, and with an article in the UK's Independent, Outrage as US military convict bin Laden's driver of war crimes. Now, according to the paper, the conviction drew instant protest from critics of the military system of trials in Guantanamo, which is kind of expected. No members of the public were allowed to witness the trial, it reminds readers. Legal documents were mostly not released. Hearsay evidence was permitted, and confessions could be elicited under physical coercion. Now, according to the groups protesting last night, the trial was not about a few men and what they may have done, but about the message the US is sending to the world, a message that is flat wrong, they say. Convictions by any means necessary. According to them, the verdicts are rammed down the gullet of justice. For the Dubai Daily, Gulf News, funny business in Guantanamo. It goes even further, describing the trial as ridiculous, a mockery of justice, with one witness, a special agent, failing to point out that the paper he was being handed to prove his proficiency in Arabic was actually upside down. It reminds readers that even if found innocent, the accused would have remained incarcerated anyway until the end of the war on terror.
Now, Nadia, of course, the man who's been tried was Yemeni, and Osama bin Laden's homeland is also feeling the impact of this war on terror.
Absolutely. It's the Mail and Guardian, South Africa's paper, daily. Yemen's terror dilemma, this article, a very in-depth article that describes Yemen as an uneasy partner in George Bush's war on terror because its cooperation has made it a target for terrorism. Now, attacks have been multiplying with what it calls devastating consequences for this wild, remote and desperately poor country. The problem is not just scarce resources to fight terrorism, it's also political will, or lack of it. According to the paper, in a land where loyalty is bought and Saudi-inspired Salafi thinking influential, there was a quiet understanding with al-Qaeda that it would be left alone to recruit terrorist fighters for Iraq if it did not attack inside Yemen. Now, today there are signs of a resurgent al-Qaeda with a new strategy to repeat small-scale attacks, and, says the paper, it's turning the war on terror into Yemen's war too.
Right, Nadia, let's head over to America now, and a scoop on the Veep, or maybe not quite yet. Who is Barack Obama going to be running with?
Well, he might be running with an opponent, according to the Jerusalem Post. Defeat your opponents, then hire them, it says. It reminds us of Nicolas Sarkozy's overture strategy, of course, politics. It's a very interesting article from the now famous town of Concord. On the campaign trail, Obama made reference to Abraham Lincoln's decision to include former rivals into his cabinet, suggesting that he could do the same. Now, in a bid to create the best possible government, John McCain has also embraced the idea of moving beyond partisan lines. This is seen as a very positive light, what the paper calls a rare combination of humility and confidence. But could a president really create a team of rivals today? And would that team actually be able to get anything done? That's the question the article is looking into. Times have changed since Lincoln. The highly publicised war and attacks and counterattacks that we've been seeing, of course, make it harder. Because now opponents are being seen as enemies. So, yes, says the Post, there might be no other option, but it isn't going to be easy.
But that doesn't mean that Hillary's going to be in the hot seat anytime
Not
soon.
necessarily.
We don't think so. Anyway, finally, it's 24 hours, of course, before the Beijing Games open. But, Nadia, you're telling me that some people are already fed up of it.
Yes, in Australia, Townsville Bulletin has Olympics fatigue. Well, that magical moment is nearly upon us, says the writer. All the hype, drama and tension-riddled build-up will burst into the living rooms of millions. But this self-declared avid sports lover is surprisingly underwhelmed. There's loads of reasons not to want to watch the Beijing Games, he says, even if it is the world's second greatest coming together of cultures, just behind the Eurovision Song Contest. So pretty damning.
Damning indeed. Goodness me. Well, thank you very much indeed, Nadia Sharbeet, for that look through the world's papers. Stay tuned to France 24. Thank you.